I'm former Senator Jim Lemke.
And I'm State Representative Paul Curtman.
And we wanted to take a few moments to introduce you to Freedom Talks. I think we would agree that we're actually trying to address a problem with Freedom Talks. And that problem being that as a people, we have collective amnesia. We have forgotten who we are and where we've come from. It's been my experience, and hopefully we can have a discussion about this, that most of those serving in Jefferson City and Washington, D.C. have more or less forgotten what the proper role and function of government is. And my hope is with Freedom Talks, we can have some of those in-depth conversations about what were our founding fathers thinking when we started this great republic.
Right, and then I think it's really important this day and age, when you see the things that are going on in Washington, D.C., when you see bureaucracies like the EPA that'll fine somebody $75,000 a day just for building a pond on their own property. You know, what that is that's a reflection of a much larger, not only maybe a moral deficit, but just a knowledge deficit of exactly why America was founded in the first place. It sure wasn't to empower bureaucracies to fine and penalize the local people just for things that they do on their own property.
And this is a problem that has not come overnight. This is something that has happened over the last 100 years. And what I really believe is important, and I believe that there are many Americans across the state of Missouri and across our country that that spark has been ignited. It needs to be flamed. And I believe that with Freedom Talks, we can start having some of these discussions again. What was Jefferson thinking, when he penned the Declaration of Independence? What was Madison? What was his goal in structuring what would govern a free people?
Right.
And so I think that these are important talks. I don't know of any other effort where people are having these types of discussions, and I think it's an important place to start.
Sure. I think that there's a lot to be said for when people just begin to get together to talk about freedom and liberty, really in a sole effort just to maintain better stewardship of the country that we have. And I can tell you from my experience talking to people in the district or talking to people across the state, there's a lot of people that have problems with certain issues or things that government is up to. But what they want to do is they want to talk about it. They want to learn about it. They want the discussion to move forward. But a lot of times it's hard to do that when all you have is just television in front of you that you can get upset and yell at and throw something at. So I think it's a good idea for like-minded people to find their way to each other in a forum like this, just to discuss the issues that, quite frankly, are on a lot of our minds right now.
And this concern is not just a concern at the national level, what's going on in Washington, D.C., although that is a major concern, but also our experience in Jefferson City. And the idea that, what's the proof that there's a problem? And I would answer that is just the legislation that is introduced and moved through the process. I mean, I want to be very clear that our effort here is not a partisan effort. This isn't an effort to promote one party over another party. This is an effort to promote good government and to discover or rediscover what is the purpose and function of government. And I believe that what our founders believed was it was very limited, and it was very purposeful to protect our God-given rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I see in Jefferson City that there are many bills that are introduced and moved through the process that are attacks on our freedom, that are assaults on our liberty. So I think it's very important that, again, we raise the bar. And I think through discussion and debate is how you do that.
Right, and just to talk about our founding fathers, when you just talk about the Declaration of Independence or you talk about the Constitution, even the Bible says that we have to stir up our minds by way of remembrance, So I think that it's important to go back to the Declaration of Independence, see where Jefferson wrote and the rest of them unanimously agreed that the purpose of government is, governments are instituted to protect our rights, and to be able to filter legislation, whether it's at the state level or the federal level, directly through that particular principle is extremely important. It's important for people understand the issues through that particular principle, especially as Americans.
And I think in a lot of cases we see that over time there's been a rewrite of history, hasn't there? I mean, no longer are the students in our schools taught that our founding fathers were men of profound faith. These were religious people. And certainly very high on their order of importance was religious freedom and liberty. Mm-hmm. So it's important to know that our founders believed that we couldn't have a civil society without a virtuous people. Right. And again, I believe these are discussions that we will be having through Freedom Talks, that we'll be looking back to what were our founders thinking when they put together this wonderful republic that has been blessed by the providential hand of God.
Right, and then, you know, these particular principles cover a whole variety of issues. Whether your issue is just Second Amendment, or it's just pro-life, or maybe you're interested in tax policy and economic freedom, these principles directly relate to everybody at life level. And so this is certainly something that I think would be in a lot of people's best interest. They would find these events highly valuable to attend.
So how will Freedom Talks actually work then? It'll be through the events that we have across the state, making stops all over the state of Missouri. And when we make those stops, we'll reach out to that community and hopefully have a full room of like-minded Missourians so that they can come together and really address these important issues. Then also we will have a website, right, that people can go to and actually see blogs written by ourselves, and then people that are guests that'll come on to the website and write blogs. So and then we also what other avenues will we have as far as reaching out to the community?
Well, we might have some opportunities in certain areas to also present this effort on local radio stations. And so what I really like about the way this is all coming together is it's going to be highly interactive. So people are going to have an opportunity to reach out and communicate. It's not just something that people are going to show up, listen for 20 or 30 minutes, and then leave. They're going to be able to participate in the discussion. They're going to be able to participate with the speakers. They're going to be able to keep in touch with them through the blog and ask questions and interact. And so that's going to help the discussion last not just through the course of a 20-minute event, but really maybe through the course of an entire election season, or an entire effort that we're working on in Jefferson City, or maybe even Washington, D.C.
With these different events that we do around the state, I want to make it clear that there won't be any charge to these events. They'll be open to the public. This is an idea about, again, driving a discussion. And we want to have all voices in this discussion because I believe that the truth of what our founders were thinking, the idea of self-evident truth, the idea that we get our rights from God, that government is there to protect our rights. These are arguments that we can stand on. I mean, it's a firm foundation. So others that want to come into the debate and want to say, well, no, that's not the purpose or role of government, we want to have those discussions.
Sure. That's part of it, you know, part of understanding. I mean, that's kind of my story. You know, I didn't always know exactly what freedom. Here I was, a sergeant in the Marine Corps, couldn't have explained to you what freedom was or what liberty was, even though I was wearing body armor, you know, with my brothers and sisters in arms, wearing a uniform in an effort to fight for our freedom. But the way I began to figure things out was some people challenged me on that idea. I was challenged on what I thought was the norm. I was challenged on what I thought was right. And through discussions and debate, people were able to help enlighten me to new ideas that I just had never thought of before. And so I'm hoping that this will kind of serve the same purpose for a lot of other people, and a lot of other people can experience maybe what I've experienced. You know, you and I could probably go on all day long talking about the Founding Fathers and liberty, and so I know that we're both going to enjoy having an opportunity to talk about this with some other people, with different people from around the state coming in to participate in the discussion. I'm really excited about it, and I'm really looking forward to our first meeting.
Likewise, and again, our first meeting will be in April the 19th in Springfield, Missouri, and then the next Saturday, that's a Saturday, it'll be Saturday morning, the next Saturday we'll be traveling to St. Louis, and we will have an event in South St. Louis County on the 25th, and then the next scheduled event after that will be in St. Charles on May 10th. So we've got 3 events currently scheduled. We're looking forward to more across the state, and I am really looking forward to having these discussions. And I think that we'll have the opportunity as time goes on to have guest presenters. Initially, it'll be you and myself, and but I think this is something where it's going to be well received, from the grassroots that you and I have been dealing with, in our service in the General Assembly. We've gotten to know a lot of great people across the state, and I think this will be very well received.
I think so.
Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you across our great state of Missouri.
Also, please go visit our website at www.mofreedomtalks.com. And while you're there, be sure to check out our pages on Facebook and Twitter.